Alrighty, hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm not really sure how to start this video exactly. This is the second video on this channel, and it has been a few days since I last posted. But I've been busy with school and a few other things. But I'll try to post daily if I can. But anyway, to get into the topic, I guess we can kind of start with a scenario, I guess, to think about. So, have you ever been in a situation where maybe you're at school or you're like at work or something, and you notice a coworker or a couple coworkers talking about somebody or someone's post that they just made about, like, maybe they went on a vacation, or maybe they were doing something, and you're just like, and I don't know if I'm alone in this, but I'm like, I could never see myself wanting to put in the effort, the minimal effort that it would take to just make a post and share my life and let other people that I don't even talk to know what's going on. And it's really just, the whole video is really about just like the general loss of interest when it comes to being active on social media, right? So like most of us, and especially me, all use social media every single day, but more consuming things, right? So just like watching stuff, doom scrolling on YouTube Shorts or on Instagram Reels, or TikTok or whatever the hell it is, right? But like, I won't be worried about my next post, or if people are wondering how I am or something like that. And I found that kind of started from a decently young age, like even at 14 or 15. So to give context, when I was 14, I think it was in 2017, I was 14 because I was born in 2002, and this was my freshman year of high school. And I remember prior to that, in middle school and stuff, I kind of got my first phone. It was when the iPhone 5Cs were coming out, all the colored little phones, and I had the blue one. And I was super, super concerned with how I looked to my peers, Now, I had recently just moved to that school because of family things, and we had to move to different states. And I didn't know a lot of the kids here, so like I didn't have the connections with them in elementary school and stuff like that, coming from that jump all the way to middle school. And so I felt like every social interaction that I had was trying to impress a cooler kid, or trying to like establish my name in the social hierarchy. And so, things that I look at now and kind of scoff at, like, I would care like if I went on a vacation over the summer, or I would care if I got a new pair of shoes or something, because those were things that I could post and things that I could show off and things that I could get likes on. And I remember like popular kids or whatever, like they'd be getting, 60, 150, 250 likes easily on some, stupid basketball game post, or they got like a new pair of shoes or a new phone, or they went on a vacation, or they went out somewhere to a restaurant or something. And for me, growing up, like I wasn't always as well off as I am now. I'm not saying like now I'm doing crazy good, but I'm a lot more well off now than I used to be back then, especially when I was in middle school and that high school era. And during middle school, I was super, super concerned with my image, especially when it came to Instagram and stuff like that, and like taking aesthetic pictures and trying to write like the really good comment or whatever that you leave on there. And then high school happened, and I would say for maybe the first few months of high school, I was kind of the same way. But I had established, a bigger friend group. I felt like I was more interconnected. A lot of people knew me. I had a lot of acquaintances. Like, I couldn't, walk through the halls or whatever without 2 or 3 people calling me out, or saying my name or something, or giving me a fist bump or whatever, right? And for some people that might, you know, that might be like nothing, right? There might be people listening to this where, you know, that's normal or whatnot. But for me, that was like a new thing, you know? And so I don't know if it was just naturally like because I was getting validation in real life, I kind of started to ignore or forget the social media validation. Because even in high school, I still didn't have like the craziest trips I was going on all the time, or the craziest things, or getting new stuff all the time to post about or whatnot. And so I kind of just stopped posting. Like I remember one year, I think it was 2018, my family went on a Grand Canyon trip. And, you know, granted it was budget, you know, we packed tuna sandwiches and stuff like that. Stayed in the really, really cheap hotel, but it was still a great experience. And that, I believe, was my last post on Instagram. And it's 2026 now, and I haven't posted since then. And I've had a lot of crazy things happen since then. I've gone on, you know, a bunch of trips, a bunch of like hiking things, and I've had so many crazy things happen since then, but I have never felt the urge to post that. And I guess I never really thought about that. You know, I thought, okay, am I doing this because it's like a quiet rebellion against like the norms or whatever? Or am I doing this because I don't have anything cool to post? Am I doing it because, you know, I'm not popular and I just don't think I can get popular like this? And I don't know. I just feel like the reality of everyday life is not like the cool factor or whatever that you see on social media. You know what I mean? Like, I'm posting all these cool things on social media, but if you were to talk to me in person, it's nothing like that. It's just a facade. And something about that being fake to me just didn't resonate. I would say for me personally, one of my biggest pet peeves is like somebody trying to put up a facade of who, you know, they really are or whatever. Like someone who's not being genuine about their personality. You know what I mean? Like people that will pretend to be into a certain type of music just because it's cool or because everyone else around them is into that. Like I would respect the person that goes against the grain and says like, no, you know, like I see that that's cool and I see that that's popular, but not my thing. You know what I mean? And they're not afraid to stand their ground, you know, and say that. But anyway, I guess I started to like receive more validation from things in real life, and I don't know if just, you know, the ordinary unposted moments of my life, like the better value that brought, it made me not feel the need to like manufacture this online persona. You know what I mean? And I feel like you see this especially with like, and no shade to the chicks, you know, I don't think there's any girls listening to this, right? But like, no shade to the chicks, but like all the guys listening to this, like we all know, dude, like we had those chicks in high school or whatever that they would post one picture, instantly 173 likes, instantly 150 likes, 200 likes, 300 likes, whatever, right? And we're sitting over here barely getting 13 likes from the boys and like a couple, you know, homo comments or whatever in the comment section or whatnot, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, but like, I don't know, something about that was like, I just saw the game. It wasn't fair. I don't even want to play it. You know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, like especially in high school and even in college or even in social situations at work, there's like, you know, for most people, there's an intense pressure to conform. You know what I mean? There's like an intense pressure to have the nice trip, to have the good things happening. You know what I mean? To look, I guess, better, you know, than you really are. And that's why they say, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure everyone's heard that a million times, that social media is just the highlight reel. I don't know. It's just, it's just that I kind of enjoy the fact that like I had this natural evolution to where I don't feel bad that I'm not active, you know, on Instagram, or I don't feel bad that I don't have like a recent post, or that to others it might seem like I have nothing going on in my life. You know what I mean? And I think that's also true for a lot of people and a lot of guys, you know what I mean? Where I'm sure that they could just freaking care less, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. And I guess, I don't know, like, we can see the impact that social media has on people's mindsets, on the way that people perceive the world around them. You know what I mean? Like, when you're just so ingrained, when all your self-value, your self-worth is so ingrained in how many likes you get, or what people are viewing, you know, your highlight reel, it's just like you're not really based in, you know, the game of life that we're playing. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. That's basically the whole point of my video, right? Like, for the longest time, forever, and it might have been because I was trying to be rebellious, or thinking that it was cool to not post shit or whatever. But I think if I look back and self-analyze, like, I didn't post because just out of like sheer laziness. I just couldn't care less, you know. I went from caring a whole lot, you know, like when I was 13, 12 or whatever, even into 14. But like once I crossed 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, I'm 24 now. And I would be totally okay with not having, you know, social media at all. You know what I mean? Now I obviously have it because I'm freaking a doom scroller chud, you know? Because that's so freaking addicting, dude. Like, I was doom scrolling shorts just before recording this crap, you know? I probably would have had this recorded already. But yeah, maybe that's another thing I'll have to work on, like trying to detach from the short form content. That just seems impossible though, because it's just, we're surrounded by it every single day, all the time. And I feel like that's how a lot of people connect nowadays, where like they show you a meme or they send you something, or, you know, and you have to like know what they're talking about. You have to know about the latest trend, and the only way to do that is to, you know, consume the content and sit there and swipe up. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that's kind of the basic point. Maybe I went off on a tangent, or maybe this wasn't as organized as it should have been. But yeah, I would encourage you to, you know, if you've always dealt with the issue of like feeling like you have to post something, or if you've dealt with the stress of, you know, which it's a very real stress of like thinking, you know, what are like Mike and Becky and whatever the hell, what are they going to think when they see this? Or, you know, freaking Todd posted, you know, whatever, and he's doing all this, and I'm over here still in the same spot. Like, you know, I would encourage you to kind of look at that, and if you're viewing it negatively, if it's affecting you negatively, maybe try to, you know, put a new pair of glasses on, switch the lens, look at it differently. Because a lot of times, I think especially now in the age and society that we live in, privacy and not knowing what's going on with someone is pretty rare, and it's pretty valuable. And I don't know. Yeah. Thanks for listening in I'll probably record something, a different topic. I mean, I'm really new to this, so these are going to kind of suck for a really long time. They might always suck, I don't know. But I appreciate you listening to the video. Leave a like, leave a comment if you have any suggestions. I would love to get suggestions for topics or things that I could kind of hash out. But yeah, thanks for watching.